All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Planters Knowledge Vodcast. Yes, I'm here with the man, not the myth. It is really him himself, Mr. Zeus Cruz. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Let me pinch myself, make sure I'm here. Yeah, I'm here in all my glory, basking in it. How's everybody doing out there? How you doing?
I know that's right. Look, I am doing great. I am so excited to have you. We had the opportunity to meet some months ago.
Yeah.
And so now here we are. Finally, you gave me the opportunity to be on your show. Had a fantastic time. We talked about so much and really didn't want to stop. I mean,
No.
it was a great conversation, had me thinking about things in a different way. And I said, "All right, now it's time to turn the tables. It's your turn now."
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot. All right. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
That's how we do. That's how we do. Leslie said, "Good evening." So, good evening, Les. All right. So, let's introduce the people to you. Tell them a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do. Then we'll move into the author's journey because if anybody saw my promo, I said he's more than an author. And when he starts to run down all the things that he does, you'll understand why I said that. All right, Zeus, let him have it.
Well, I'm just trying to keep up with you. You're a few miles ahead of me. I'm just trying to catch up, stay in the lane a little bit.
Come on, you
But
know I'm a bunny. You know I'm a bunny, so I will keep it moving.
hello everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm Zeus Cruz. I am the founder and creative director for Olympian Multimedia. So basically, the business entails us creating innovative digital content for
Mhm.
clients and also assisting them in developing strategies for brand recognition. So
Mm.
basically, we're just taking different elements and as far as their business, their artistry, and kind of honing in on specifics on what they're trying to accomplish, whether it is to promote their business, maybe they're trying to market their services or a product, or maybe they're just trying to endorse their brand overall. We
Mhm.
kind of devise an outline with them so that we can get to the specifics and reach their basically to match their agenda
Mhm.
so that they
Mhm.
can reach their goals and their objectives on those particulars and specifics. And then we deal with all genres of media: photography, videography, music production, digital design. So it's we pretty much kind of like an octopus. We got our hands
Yeah.
all over the place.
All over.
We pretty much cover all the bases.
Nice.
But we also help too with people with distribution. If you're looking to
Really?
trying to distribute your products or different types of content that you come on your own, we do
Mhm.
assist with that as well. So we're pretty much trying to create like this one-stop shop when
Yes.
it comes to multimedia. And then, as you alluded to earlier, I am the proud author of 9 books. I'm presently
Come
working
on,
on my
say it
tenth
loud,
book.
say it proud. How many books was that?
That was 9 books.
That was
You know what I mean?
nine.
There
Nine.
we
Don't
go.
sleep on it. Come on.
Yeah, let me clap for myself a
That's
little
right.
bit
Pat
here.
yourself
Okay.
on the back. I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm definitely proud of that because writing is my ultimate passion.
Mhm.
Um, I knew that since a young age that I wanted to write.
Did you?
Um,
How old?
yeah. I would say probably about 6, 7, 8 years old. I
Okay.
know back in
Wow.
school, everybody dread to do like essays and book reports and all that,
Uh-huh.
and I'm relishing in it. Like I can't wait to do these different projects because it's just something about words. I can't really pinpoint it for you guys, but
Uh-huh.
it's just something about words that's always fascinated me. And just the fact that when you write, the thing that I look at it when I write is the fact I never have to worry about the page talking back to me, or that I have to get in an argument, or I gotta keep saying "excuse me." I don't mean to offend you.
You don't have to
Uh,
justify
it's going to
anything.
take whatever punishment I'm giving it. Is basically what I'm saying. So, not that I'm writing all kinds of crazy stuff. Don't hold that against me. I'm not writing nothing crazy, but I'm just saying just the fact that I can really express myself freely,
Yeah.
because I just know for me personally, I'm not the easiest person to get along with,
Mm-hmm.
nor am I the easiest when it comes to articulate myself as far as
Okay.
my thoughts and my feelings. Sometimes I could get like a little bit over analytical,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like sometimes when I'm trying to explain certain things to people, they're kind of like, Zeus, I want to be there with you,
Uh-huh.
but you a little over my head right
Right.
now, and I'm not sure how we go from here. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's no fault to nobody. That's
Right.
just the type of person that I am.
Yeah.
I'm a very deep thinker. So
Yeah.
I just kind of look at that. Writing is my way of just kind of releasing any
Yes.
kind of tension. It's very therapeutic. And like I said, I just have the fascination with words, just the way there's so much in the vocabulary, so many
Mm-hmm.
terminologies that you can
Mm-hmm.
use to kind of express yourself. And then
Yes.
there's so many different formats when it comes to writing to how
Yeah.
you express yourself.
Yeah.
So I just love the freedom that it encompasses, and
Mm-hmm.
I totally have embraced it. So
I
I'm
love
definitely,
it.
everything I'm doing is working toward my end game of just being like a full-time author. Get up early in the morning, get my coffee, and just get to writing.
I love it. Well, let me give you some shout outs here. We got Leslie clapping it up for you with those 9 books.
Okay. Appreciate it, Miss Young.
All right. We
Thank
have
you very
R.
much.
Bonham. Congratulations. Lots of work. We
Oh,
also
shout out. Oh, okay. Yeah, these are my peoples right here. I
people.
appreciate that, man. That's Miss Rebecca Baum. I do a lot of different projects with her. She's a publisher for Blue Jay Press down where I
Okay.
live at. So
Great shout
definitely
out.
congrats to her. Much blessings to her.
Nice.
Trip Black. I just did an interview with them. They're
Uh-huh.
musical artists right away
Okay.
where I live at right here in Cumberland County. Shout outs to them. Shout out to B. Shout out to Sid. Love you guys. They're like brothers from another mother. Oh man, talking about another brother. Here we go. Shout out to Mr. Jason Canyon, my business associate, executive producer for Olympian Multimedia. Shout out to you. Appreciate you logging on.
Nice. Look at that
Another
support.
brother from another mother. Love them guys, man.
Look at that. We have Boss Copeland over on the Instagram side of life. So hello over there. So you
Okay.
are you are being well supported all around these internet streets.
I appreciate it. I try to give back as much as I can. I mean,
Yes.
you already kind of alluded it too about just having them video series that I have through my YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about just this is like new territory for me because I don't really like showing my face too much. I'm
Uh-huh.
not a big person to be in front of the camera and doing all things such as that. But obviously you got to have a face to the business,
That's
or at
right.
least that's what my team told me. So
That's
but I
real.
get great enjoyment and I get great satisfaction of being to create these platforms so that I can showcase other people and their
Mm-hmm.
talent and their artistry and their business. It means a lot to me that in a small way that I
Yeah.
can help out and showcase what they're doing, promote what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's all about the blessings that you see other people doing. I
Yes.
love to see the people that is close to me advancing with their lives and accomplishing all their goals. I mean, of course, I want to accomplish my goals too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's just way more satisfaction where, as the old moniker goes, there's more happiness in giving than receiving.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
So
think you
it's all
definitely
about
do it
just,
hand in hand. You
yeah,
definitely do both.
yeah. I mean, I just try to keep that in mind that
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer in karma. So the good that you do towards people,
Yes.
it's going to come back around to you. It may not come at the time you want it, but that's when you just got to learn patience and just keep striving and keep working towards your goals.
That's right. That's right. So now let's talk. We got a bunch of going back
Oh
and forth.
man, that's my brother right there too. Shout out to Mr. Tito Mercado. What's going on, man? That's my cousin, but he's like my big brother, man. I look up to him, man. Love you, bro.
I love all of this support. I love it. Now you mentioned a couple things I want to just go back on. So you said you were about 8 or 9 years old when you knew that you had this love for writing the written word and expressing oneself.
Right.
Did it show up in school? Had it already started at home? Where do you remember first writing? And do you remember one of your first writing assignments or stories?
Um, like I was talking before, I mean, I didn't really pursue my writing heavily when I was young. I just
Mm-hmm.
look forward to like doing the different essays and book reports that we would do in school.
Mm-hmm.
My first, I guess, writing project where I was like all in was
Yes.
I did a story. I never really truly completed it, but it was called The Keeper of the Mountain, and it
Mm.
was basically like a horror suspense type of a
Okay.
novel.
Yes.
Um I don't know what happened. I started the manuscript and then I kind of diverted a little bit to poetry
Uh-huh.
because once I got to the being a junior and a senior in high school, that's when I started getting really into hip hop
Mm-hmm.
and doing rap music.
Okay.
And because a lot of people would read like some poetry of their minds and they would be like, man, these would sound really good in songs. Did you ever even
Mm-hmm.
thought about rapping
Mm-hmm.
or doing anything associated with that? I was like, nah, I never gave that a thought. I'm just concentrating on just getting better as a writer.
Yes.
So the correlation is there because if you listen to rap music, I mean, that's basically poetry in motion right there.
Exactly.
Spoken word. You're following pretty much the same guidelines as far as
Mm-hmm.
like what you would do with poetry. So
Mm-hmm.
it was an easy transition for me to do that. And then that
Okay.
allowed me to expand myself and work even harder on my
Mm-hmm.
poetry and just kind of strengthen the things that I consider as a weakness.
Gotcha. Now, were you also performing your poetry? Were you also rapping, or were you taking your poetry and sliding it to somebody else to do?
As far as like the poetry and the spoken word, I wasn't really doing that. Once I kind of fell off of that once I was starting to get big into the music.
Okay.
Especially once I started building my first studio, I
Mm-hmm.
was all in with the music and just constantly recording. So
Okay.
I say within a 3 year span, I
Wow.
probably put out about 9 or 10 albums. I
Wow.
was just probably I wouldn't go any longer than probably like 3 or 4 months before I put out a new album.
Oh my goodness.
Again, shout out to my business associate, my brother from another mother, Jason Canyon, for providing the production for me. Just as
Mm-hmm.
quick as I was writing the songs and putting out the rhymes, is just as quick as he was making the beats. So
Nice.
as much as he was on hand putting the beats out, it's just as quick as I'm on the mic recording
Okay.
another song.
Love it.
Um, but then after a while, things happen. You know how it
Mm-hmm.
is. Life
Mm-hmm.
happens, things come up, and then I kind of deviated from that. And then it took some years before, I got back into my poetry and decided
Okay.
that hey, maybe I should go ahead and publish some of this stuff.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that moment. But before we go into that moment, if people want to hear any of this music from back in the day, is it still available for people to hear?
No, like the master
Jason, is it still
copies.
available somewhere? Come on, drop
No,
those tapes,
no, no,
Jason.
no. I don't even think you want to hear them because I actually got my hands on a couple tracks that I did back then, and
Uh,
they sound kind of rough.
that's
Back then they sounded on point, but right now,
your ear has
we're gonna
changed a
let
little bit.
yeah, Catherine, we're gonna let that slide right there. I don't think I want to put myself out there like that.
Okay, all right. We're gonna slide into the current. All right.
Okay,
So
okay,
then you decided you reconnected with your poetry.
yeah.
And what was that moment, if you can remember, when it was like, it's no longer, I'm not going to keep it close to chest. I'm going
Mhm.
to actually publish this in a book format.
I'm gonna have to give a lot of credit to the missus.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the love of my life, Miss Lisa Jackson.
Oh.
If it wasn't for her support, I probably wouldn't even take it a step further. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in some way, shape, or form, I've never really stopped writing. It
Okay.
was only probably around 2017
Mm-hmm.
is when I was really like going into it again, and I'm just like filling notebook after notebook
Wow.
with really no intentions of publishing. It just felt good to get in that mode again of writing.
Mm-hmm.
But with her support, and then also to just the family that's around me, my close friends, they also were all saying the same thing as well. They were just like, "Look, man, your stuff is good."
Mhm.
I'm always going to be the biggest critic.
Mhm.
Ain't nobody going to criticize my stuff more than me.
Mhm.
And for them to just give me that support and just be like, "No, seriously, like your stuff is good enough to publish. You need to
Nice.
share that with other people that maybe possibly somebody can read your stuff and might help them.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
inspire them to go ahead and pursue whatever they want to pursue. So you shouldn't hold yourself back. I mean, what's the worst can happen?
That's right.
Nobody's really digging your work. At least you could say that you gave it a try.
Mhm.
So once they put it in that perspective, I was just like, you know what? I don't got nothing to lose. Let's try it out.
None
And
at
then
all.
once I put out the first book, it was just like I couldn't stop. It was
Mm.
just an adrenaline rush basically for me. And I just kept putting
Mhm.
out another book and another book and another book. So it got to the point where like I probably was putting out a new book probably about every 8 months,
Wow.
8 to 9 months. So
Okay.
yeah, I was once I put out a book, I'm
Mhm.
already halfway through my manuscript for my next book.
Okay.
I mean, that's
That
how
is,
much I was writing constantly, like every
that's
day, just
amazing.
jotting something down.
Mhm.
And my way of writing is a little bit unorthodox. I know some people would look at it like, man, I don't know how you even put anything together, man. This
Do
looks like a
tell,
chicken scratch.
share.
Well, the way I write and put things together is I basically just take sheets of paper and I just write a bunch of words that I come across because I read a lot. I'm an avid reader.
Okay.
So I take anything that I'm reading, I'll look at some words that look interesting to me. Maybe I
Mhm.
don't know the meaning offhand. I'll look up the meaning and I'll be like,
Mhm.
well, this is an interesting word. Maybe I'll be able to use it. And I'm just jotting down pages of different words and phrases.
Mm.
And then from there, that's how I start developing my concept on what
Mhm.
type of poems or short stories that I want to write. And then what I do is I map out the words that kind of coincide with each other
Got
and
it.
that can really emphasize and expand on that concept that I came up with.
Mhm.
So again, if you would look at my pages or look at my notebooks, you would probably be like, man, this just looks like pure chaos.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's just a bunch of stuff on here. I don't know where to go with this. But to me, it's just like it's equivalent to me getting like a new notebook.
Yeah.
It's nothing like getting in my eyes,
Yeah.
it's nothing like
Yeah.
getting a new notebook.
Yes.
Some people get excited when they get a new outfit, maybe some new jewelry, this, that, and the third. But for me, it's just getting that notebook because as soon
Mhm.
as I open a notebook up, I mean, I see all the words as if
Mhm.
I already wrote it already,
Mhm.
and I'm just already like boom, 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 boom. Anybody who knows me knows I keep a notebook handy with me all the time. I'm always
Yeah.
jotting stuff down. So,
Thank you for
yeah,
sharing that. I'm so glad that you did because so many times, right, there's people who have a story that they want to tell, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, poetry, autobiography, something, right? And they feel like there's a certain format that you have to follow because a lot of times when you were in school, they told you you had to follow a certain way.
mhm,
But what's inside of you may be different from what you learned or how
yeah,
your, as you're talking about, your process is. I know for me, my stories, they literally are just downloaded. And so I'll be sitting there and then all of a sudden it will just come and I'll run to my computer and there it comes out. And then the next
mhm.
day I'll be like, all right, y'all, how's this sound? And they're like, when did you write that? And I'm like, oh, last night between like 1 and 3. And then
Yeah, I'll be there too.
right. So, right. So we have to learn what our own process is and what works for us. And so I thank you so much for sharing that process because it works for you. You got 9 books that are published so far because you like Prince. You got stuff in the archives that we ain't even seen yet. So,
Yeah, there's
mhm,
a few things tucked away.
mhm,
I don't know when I'm gonna put them out, but yeah, I'm
mhm.
always writing, always putting ideas together.
So let's talk about some of these books. You want to start from the first and go forward, or you want to start from the latest and go backwards? Your preference.
Let's start with the beginning.
Okay.
Um, the very first book I put out. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yes,
It's
we can
called
see
Thoughts.
it.
It's called Thoughts from Olympus.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you guys know my name's Zeus Cruz, so I'm a huge Greek mythology buff, nerd, whatever you
Love
want to
it.
call me. I love Greek mythology. So being with my name Zeus, I kind of played that kind of concept into my writing. So you're going to get a lot of like references when it comes to Greek mythology, like the different characters and settings and different stories and whatnot. I try not
Mm-hmm.
to overcomplicate the writing because not everybody's like familiar all with all the different stories that come with Greek
Yes.
mythology. But
You see your message here real
I
quick.
try to I try to keep it in reasonable terms. I don't want people to lose themselves as they're writing. Like, man, who is all these people? What's going
Right.
on here? He's talking some old other stuff right here. So, but with Thoughts from Olympus, it was a very personal book. Um, Obviously, I'm writing it through metaphoric, very
Okay.
heavy with the metaphors and whatnot. But
Yes.
I'm basically it's a biography of my life. I'm
Hmm.
basically talking about different experiences and stuff that I went through in my life that were, some things were good,
Yeah.
but then there was times that they were bad.
Mm-hmm.
The main one in that one that everybody enjoyed a lot was there's a poem in there called Outcomes,
Okay.
and it was actually dedicated to somebody that was very close to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Her name was Marisol Rodriguez,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, she passed away. She committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to her family and asked for permission if it would be
Mm-hmm.
okay to write a poem in dedication to her.
Mm.
And they thought
Beautiful.
that was like a fantastic idea because they knew I
Mm-hmm.
was very close with her.
Mm-hmm.
And the poem is basically just like a short biography of what she went through and
Gotcha.
all the trials and tribulations that she went through.
Mm-hmm.
And I got such great response from that. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing when people were reading it, they were telling me their experiences of people in their family, close friends that had these like suicidal thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of just dealing with that and didn't know per se how
Yes.
to handle a situation like that.
Yes.
So it opened up great dialogue with people.
Mm-hmm.
And they found a sense of closure basically from reading that. And
That's
that's when it
beautiful.
really hit me hard to know, like, wow, in a very small way, like my words can really affect people, that my writings can really affect people.
Yes.
So that definitely gave me the motivation more to like, hey, I need to keep pursuing this and keep writing.
Yeah.
Um, and then again, to continue to inspire people.
Yeah.
So like with the second book,
Well, wait, before we go to second, you got some comments here I want to pull to your attention.
okay,
So
okay.
Lisa says she's gonna keep the notebooks coming.
Oh, she gonna keep the notebooks coming. Well, she sure enough did. I got a stack of them over here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fill them up pretty soon.
Yes. All right.
Okay, hey Zoo, hey, how you doing? That's my daughter right there, Lejana.
Oh,
Shout
hey
out to her.
there. All right. And then Jason said, I know what to get him for his birthday.
Yeah, the I guess the secret's out. At least I'm cheap. You ain't gotta spend a lot. You know what I mean? It ain't much to get a notebook, so yeah, I appreciate that.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, with the first one, there's that piece obviously which is very sentimental to you. Is there another piece in there that you love and or that you want to share?
Oh man, you putting me on the spot here,
Of course
man. You
I
you
would.
actually
Would I not
you
be
you
me if
actually
I
want me to
didn't?
read one?
Yes.
Let me see.
Come on, daughter. Encourage him to read one. Come on, y'all. You
Okay,
want him to
I
read
think
one? Put
I
it on
think
in
I
the
got
chat.
one here.
You
I
got
think I
one?
got one here.
All
Yeah, I
right.
think I got one here. This was definitely I guess you could say like a fan favorite as well.
Okay.
Um, it's
Do I need to
entitled "Thoughts
beatbox
from."
while you do it? Do I need to beatbox while you do it?
Oh
So,
no no no
okay.
no no
All right.
no!
Go
I'm
ahead.
good. I'm just gonna read this straight through. Maybe next time we could
Okay.
do that. We could definitely do that. But it's called Thoughts from Within. So you sure you want me to read it?
Of course. We love you
Okay,
too.
okay, okay.
I need y'all populated with ones in the chat if you want them to read it. Come on.
All right, here we go. Beautiful, is it not? Two souls with powers of creation. Time gives way to development. I wait for them in anticipation. For months, a bond was formed. For in a relationship, it is a must. To be sheltered and cared by her, there must be a measure of trust.
Mm,
I can only imagine the joy they feel to be given such power to harness. Despite being alone right now, I still find delight in the darkness. A piece of two souls made me to be shaped from their very mold, to continue with history, to create stories that were foretold.
mm,
And now it seems me and my maker are now face to face in war. No longer do I see a night, but a white light displaying feelings I never felt before. I began to shake, clutching onto my chest. I encounter a scene so wickedly vile. And just before I lay to rest, I asked, why would they want to abort their child?
mm, mm, mm.
So yeah, that one was another one was kind of like a heavy hitter with people.
Yeah.
Definitely got a response from that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Different people emailing me and telling me again about their experiences. Um, I actually wrote that while I was at work.
Mm,
Because one of the co-workers was kind of sharing an experience of somebody in their
gotcha.
family that just went through that,
Okay.
and that kind of low key gave me the inspiration to write that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Tell me this. For a male doing poetry and being very much in touch with your feelings and expressing your feelings, was that hard for you to tap into and to share? Because in a lot of cultures, males expressing their feelings is usually just two, and usually is mad is usually the one that's allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe every once in a while you get a happy moment, but usually sadness and the full range, scared, nervous, all of those aren't usually allowed to be touched on as openly.
Right. Um. Nah, it wasn't really too much for me, man. I'm a pretty much straight up bold person. I'm the type of person where like you don't ask the question if you don't want the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to like express myself, it wasn't really hard. I mean, there was like a little bit of backlash from different people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a forum that's set up on Reddit where I allow people to like comment and whatever kind of content that we put out through the business or through my books.
Mm-hmm.
And you get some comments here and there. They're just like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yo, what are you doing?" I even went to events where there's like
Mm-hmm.
guys coming up to me and just like, "Yo, what are you doing, man? Like, you're a guy. Guys don't do poetry. That's just something for females to do."
Mm-hmm.
But I don't read too much into that at all. I'm my own person. I'm very in tune with myself,
Yes.
and I just know I just love poetry. I just love poetry and the way you can express yourself in so many different ways with it. I
Yeah.
mean, you could pretty much do that with any style of writing, but that was just something that I gravitated to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't really pay too much mind to the naysayers and
Yes.
whatnot.
I'm so glad because it is something, as a clinician, I'm always working with males to express themselves, to
Mhm.
tap into more than just, the Sesame Street emotions, happy, sad, glad, mad, right? I
Yeah,
because we have so many more, and it is so important that we are in tune with
yeah,
ourselves. And so I thank you for the work that you do, because you are a bold and courageous example of fully expressing yourself and listening to other people's stories and experiences and being inspired by that. So that empathy is there. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, book number two. What came up next?
Well, book number two is pretty much a continuation of the first book. It's called Jupiter Expressions.
Okay.
So the reason why I came up with Jupiter is because Jupiter is the Roman version of Zeus. So
Ah, look
Zeus
at
is
you.
Greek, and then the Roman version is Jupiter.
Yep.
So it's basically just an extension of the first book. Again, when it comes to my writing, I'm an open book. I'm really not hiding anything other
Mm-hmm.
than I leave. I omit names because I don't want to put nobody on the spot. But I don't have a problem sharing my life experiences.
Right.
Um, I mean, that's the quickest way to get motivation as
Mm-hmm.
far as when it comes to your writing, and just to show how authentic you are as a writer is just to, just talk about your events and experiences, and then just put it in a creative way.
Yes.
So Jupiter Expression is just a continuation of Thoughts from Olympus, where I'm just kind of talking about the different things that I was going through. The
Mm-hmm.
fact is, with them first two books, I didn't publish them to 2017, but
Okay.
actually, them two books were actually written about 2.5 years prior to me publishing them. So
Got
I
it.
actually was just sitting on them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I decided that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and publish, I obviously made the different changes during my editing process to,
Yes.
kind of put it into a complete manuscript. Um, but it basically, those first two books is kind of like my timeline of things I went through
Mm-hmm.
between probably like for the 3 or 4 years prior to me publishing them.
Got it.
I went through a lot of things, went through a lot of stages of just self discovery and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of re knowing myself basically.
Yeah.
And just to start being honest with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed
Mm-hmm.
I got to the point where like being honest with yourself should be the easiest thing to do in the world. Nobody knows you better than yourself, but it's just funny how it could be the hardest thing you can ever do.
It's the
And
truth.
I'm just glad I have good people around me to kind of like, help me put me back in the right direction.
Yes.
And just to see that, hey, you kind of teetering off there a little bit, man. We need you to
Mm-hmm.
get back focused. You're
Mm-hmm.
better than this. You know what I
That's
mean?
it.
So I'm definitely appreciative of the ones that are in my life that have been supportive and helped me along with this way with this process of finding myself and then rededicating myself basically to my
Mm-hmm.
craft.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So for those who are on the YouTube side of life, I'm not sure if they can see it on link because we're streaming live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So I'm not
Okay.
sure if they can see it on LinkedIn. I know they can't see it on Instagram. I am dropping links to his books on from Amazon, so you can copy those links and purchase some, all, one of his books. We go for all nine, but let's
Yeah,
go.
let's just do the whole collection. Just go ahead. You're gonna read one and then you're gonna want to read another one. So
That's
you might as
right.
well just get the whole
Just
thing
with the
at
whole
one time.
thing.
Now you can take your time. I
That's
ain't gotta
it.
worry about getting the rest of them. I already got them all.
That's it. That's it.
I mean,
And
come
buy
on.
some for a friend too, right?
I
So
mean, do that too. I mean,
that's it.
buy it for the whole block, the whole
That's
community. Buy it for all your co-workers. I
there you
mean,
go.
it's happiness in giving than receiving. I'm trying
That's
to
right.
tell you.
That's right. That's Tell me this. You chose to self-publish. Did you self-publish all nine or did just the
Yes.
first couple? You did all nine. Now, what
No,
made you
all nine books.
choose to self-publish versus going the traditional route?
Just more control. Let's just come down to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just allows me to kind of just dictate things at my own pace. Um, it's some. I mean, to have that kind of backing from a bigger publisher is always a beautiful thing. But then there's
Mm-hmm.
also some bureaucracy that come with it as well.
Yep.
So I kind of just wanted to avoid that,
Yes.
and I didn't want to stick to like any kind of deadlines, even though I
Yep.
was pretty regular as far as like putting out a book and publishing a new book. I
Okay.
still didn't want to stick to any kind of deadlines and anything. I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted more control.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely understand that because all of my books are self-published as well. When I first started out in 2009, I did look between 2009 and 2011. I looked at what it took to go the traditional route, and
Mhm.
there were hoops and jumping through. And then the more research I did, the more people were similar to you were saying keeping the control, gaining more of the royalties and so forth. And I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do
Mhm.
this like Wu Tang and Master P. I'm gonna just sell stuff out the
Yeah, there
trunk
you
of my
go.
car. So,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I keep a stash at all times so that nobody's ever
There
saying
you
like,
go.
do you? I sure do. Bam, it's
There
right
you
there.
go.
Yes,
There you go.
yes. So now, all right. Anything in Jupiter that you would like to share with us?
Man, You really putting me on something here, man. Uh, I, uh, mm, mm. I would say probably not for right now because a lot of this stuff
Okay.
is like really long
It's okay.
and
Yes.
it's long and I don't know. It's like a few things in there that's like really personal.
A little bit. Fair enough.
I don't feel totally comfortable in reading them.
Fair. Thank you. Look, my thing is, look, we got to be honest with ourselves and we got to be honest with others. So I appreciate it. Good deal. All right, book number 3. What we have up next?
Well, the next one is called Olympian Ultra, Far
Okay.
from the Norm,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's a nice cover. Did you do that cover yourself?
yeah, just something simple. I mean, I wasn't really into much of getting an understanding of how to like do digital design and just coming up with covers and whatnot. So I try to
Okay.
just keep them relatively simple for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this book I went really outside the box. It's still personal. It's a lot of
Okay.
personal stuff in there, but I kind of just expanded my horizons a little bit more and try to tell a little bit more like stories within the poetry.
Okay.
And then I try to really push myself when it comes to writing to really kind of like force the reader to think outside the box and
Mm-hmm.
kind of get out of their comfort zone a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like the beginning of me really trying to like, you know, really push my limits as far as like, you know, how good of a poet I really am, you know.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
sometimes when you get to writing, you kind of play it safe sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just stick to what you know or what you're good at, where the meter doesn't or the needle is not going to push on the meter unless you kind of
Sorry.
like make yourself uncomfortable,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
Because that's when you really show like your resolve and your fortitude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you shared this work after the other two, what was some of the feedback that you received?
Uh, I'll tell you one story. Um, I was at a book event, a book
Mm-hmm.
signing event, and this guy came to me and just stumping away, coming to the table, and
Mm-hmm.
he had this book and then the two books that came after this that I wrote.
Okay.
Right. So to make a long story short, he just went on this big old spiel about how I shouldn't quit my day job and that I am one of the worst writers that he ever came across, and this is like one of the worst books he ever written.
Mm-mm.
And before I can get really in tune with what he was saying, I just had to notice that he had the two books that came after that. So I'm wondering, I'm trying to find the logic here. Like, if I'm the worst thing you ever came
Yes.
across when it comes to like
Why?
writing and with the book, why did you buy the? And I couldn't pull myself to ask him that because I was just so
Oh,
stunned by just looking at that, the
yes.
visuals and whatnot. But he probably went on a, I don't know, probably like a 3 or 4 minute spiel about
Mm,
like, yo, this is horrible. Like your writing is off, and it's basically I couldn't understand half the stuff you were using in there. You need to dumb it down. You're using
mm,
words that I don't have no clue what they mean. So I
mm,
don't know if you're using them the right way. So I
mm,
just politely just told him like, yo, I appreciate your feedback. I mean, this is what
mhm,
I need in order to
mhm,
become
mhm.
better. I see that you did get my next two books after that. So hopefully when you read them,
Yes.
um, maybe I get a little bit better and I correct the mistakes or whatever. And
Mhm.
then he had to correct me right there by saying, "Well, we're not talking about the other two books. We're talking about this one." I'm
Oh,
like, you know what, sir? You know, I just appreciate the support,
yes.
but I might have to ask you to move to the side. We got other people trying to come to the table.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was just such a
Mm.
like really, man, like you wasted gas and got in your car, came all the way down here just for you to. I mean, you could have
Just
emailed me that for
complain.
all I knew. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. It's real talk. It's real talk.
Yeah.
I remember with my first book, The Greatest Soul Journey, someone came similar came to the table and they were like, "How can you claim all of this? How do you think that this is going to help people?" And they hadn't read the book. They
Mm,
literally had just picked it up and thumbed it while I was standing
wow.
right there. And so I said, "Well, would you like to go through the book?" so that we can talk about how I can make my claims on how this is going to be helpful to people. And he just smiled and said no and put the book down and walked away. And so, and this was my first book. And so I share that story because when you're an author, everybody's not going to like your stuff. Everybody's not going to support you. I remember I have a friend who's a musician, and whenever she would put out EPs, albums, so I always bought them. And
Mm,
so I'm just like, and she said to me, "Thank you." She said, "I learned very quickly that your friends aren't always your fans."
mm.
And I was
That's
like,
deep right there.
"Yeah."
That's deep.
And so
And just to
luckily,
coincide, to
go for it.
piggyback off what you're saying, I had people come up to me and be like, "Hey, did you check it out? I mean, what do you think? Give me the
Mhm.
pros and cons."
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't really get to, really too
Mhm.
much into it or whatever. I kind of flipped to it, like alluding to what you were just saying.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
understand everybody has lives, you get busy. I don't expect you to just in one night just read the whole thing or whatever.
Mhm.
But just to give a little bit of insight on what you like, what you didn't like.
Yeah.
And then, for a few people, they give me an attitude like, well, what do you want from me, Zeus? I mean, I bought it.
Right. Right.
You got my money. I bought the book. What more you want? And I'm just like, well, you know what? I appreciate that. And I do appreciate the support. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to sound like I'm ungrateful. But the main thing for me is like I'm always trying to find a way to, like I said, better my craft. And the only way
Mhm.
I'm going to better it if I get actual feedback,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be all good. Even
Right.
with the guy yelling at me at the thing, I mean, he gave some valid points,
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
between of like all the theatrics that he was
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
He gave some good points that I kept in
Mhm.
mind. So I'm not going to say the whole experience was bad,
Right.
but that was his feelings.
Yeah.
So even if you don't really have anything positive to say about my work, I mean, that's fine. At the end of the
Mhm.
day, I'm not brittle. You
Mhm.
know, I
Mhm.
got pretty much tough skin.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take in what you're saying and see if I can make some application to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because you could tell the difference between somebody who's being genuine and then somebody who's just, they're just being
Exactly.
negative.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, to the point, right? You are putting things out, and correct me if I'm wrong. Well, let me just ask you, what's your motivation for sharing your work with the world?
This is going to be probably like a weird thing for me to say or whatever, but again, the people who know me know how I am as a person. I In general, I don't like people. Like I don't like being
Mhm.
around people. I don't do good in crowds.
Mhm.
I tend to get like anxiety a little bit,
Mhm. Mhm.
dealing with crowds and just dealing with people. But the weird thing is I love working as a team. I love working
Mhm.
in a team environment, how we
Mhm.
could bounce different ideas off each other. And when you're around like-minded people,
Mhm.
kind of like share your vision or just see like, man, they're working on goals just like you're working on goals.
Yeah.
It just inspires me to like share
Mhm.
like what I'm going on and the things that I'm doing. So when it comes to writing, it's just like it's funny, like when I'm writing certain things or whatnot, and I'm talking about my life, you end up coming across somebody who's pretty much going through the same thing you're doing.
That's right.
So, like I mentioned earlier, I don't do the greatest as far as like articulating myself.
Mhm.
Sometimes it just comes out wrong. Maybe the intention was right, but it just comes out
Mhm.
wrong. And
Mhm.
I'm willing to admit that. And again, I'm not the easiest person to get along with. But with writing, just seeing like how it can affect people and help people,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I just try to have a good heart and just live a good life
Yeah.
and just give as much as I can to people. I know it comes off the wrong way, so to all those out there, I apologize. I'm a work in progress,
Mhm.
but when it comes to writing, it's just easy for me because it's just in a small way, in a subtle way. It's kind of like
Mhm.
it could affect people's lives
Yep.
with your writing.
Yep.
So that's what keeps me going and pursuing and just of course you
Yeah.
go into it, you try to make it a business and things such that to that nature basically.
Mhm.
But there's no greater feeling to know like you actually touch, even if I
Yeah.
just touch one person's life, through my writing, that means the world to me.
It's the
So
truth.
so that one person could be the one to motivate me to like, hey, I could keep going. Maybe I'll end up with 2 people, 10
That's
people, 20 people, 100 people that I affect. So yeah, it's nothing like, writing.
It's the truth. It's the, and I'm so glad that you said that, because there's people on this call that may be thinking about writing. There's some who may be writing already, as well as the replay. And I know for myself, after my first book, I said the same thing. I was like, if I just one person, if it just touches one person in a positive way, I'm good. And I got that
Mhm.
call, where it was just like,
Okay.
your book changed my life. And I was like, oh, maybe I can get 2 people, and it's the slow, it's the steady gain. And now here we are. That first book was published in 2009. So we're over 10 years later, and the work is still relevant, right? It's still touching people's lives. I'm still getting responses. And, you're absolutely right. It is that which motivates you, and you say, huh, maybe I can do it again. And then
Hmm.
it comes and you flush it.
Hmm.
Let's see. It said, by sharing, you gain understanding, which makes connections. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So then we move on to book 4.
Book 4. So we move on to Catalyst number 4 made Olympic.
Okay. What's that one about?
This is my first crack at, I still keep with the poetry,
Yes.
but now I started writing essays on
Aha.
different concepts that were, I wouldn't say like they were the most important to me, but it was just something that on my mind at the time when I was writing.
Mm-hmm.
So my intentions when I started writing was to just keep it all poetry.
Okay.
But certain things I would just keep in my mind on, and just again just interacting with different people, just hearing like kind of their thoughts on different things.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of moved me in that direction to kind of like, hey, maybe I should add a couple essays in here
Mm-hmm.
on different topics that I'm thinking of. So
Mm-hmm.
again, it was another like metamorphosis, I guess, for me to expand
Mm-hmm.
myself as a writer
Yeah.
and not just take it so much with the poetry, just expand it into like doing essays.
Got you. And then we come up to number 5.
Number 5 is a part 2 to the original book, the first book. So it's
Aha.
Thoughts from Olympus Deuce.
All right, Deuce.
So this book was all essays. I might have maybe like one poem in there,
Okay.
maybe two tops, but the whole thing was like very in-depth concepts and that I came up with, essays on different concepts. I kind of expanded on a lot of different things, just gave my thoughts. It was meant to like open up dialogue with people to talk
Mm-hmm.
about like different things and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying to make it too preachy. It was just my thoughts on different things.
Okay.
Probably out of all my books, that's probably the one that got like the worst review
Okay.
from people.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just felt like some of the things I said in there was like a little bit over the top. And I
Mm-hmm.
think they were kind of like not understanding that these are just my opinions.
Yes.
I never stated anything in there that was a fact.
Got you.
But it just seemed like some of the stuff they read in there, I guess they kind of offended them maybe,
Okay.
or they just took
Okay.
it the wrong way. So out of all my books, that was like the worst reviewed one.
Okay.
But I don't have no regrets about
I got
writing it.
you. And to your point, it sounds like you wrote it to stimulate thought and conversation. Well, you shared it
Yeah, yeah.
because you wrote it for yourself, but you shared it and to stimulate thought, conversation, and that's exactly what it did. Even with a quote unquote negative review, it meant that
Yeah.
somebody had to think about what you wrote.
I mean, at the end of the day, they read it.
That's right. It
So I
served
mean,
its
I
purpose.
accomplished my goal in the end.
Exactly.
Um, and again, even if it's just negative or you just getting criticism, man, just take it with a grain of salt. Just be
Hmm.
appreciative that they even took the time to read it.
That's right. And I'm also thinking it's inspiring because the person who reads it says, well, I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay, have at it. Right? So
Hmm.
now here's someone else who may now decide to be an author because they were motivated. They may have disagreed with what you said and or how you said it, but now it
Mm,
inspires them to go forward. So it's still a win-win.
a win-win. I mean, you gotta look at the positive, man. If you just stick
Yeah,
with the negative, man, you're not really gonna advance very far.
that's right. And also right. And they took the time to give you feedback. Exactly.
Yeah. And that
Exactly.
includes that guy that drove all the miles to come see
Th-
me at the.
That's right.
Shout out to you. I didn't catch your name, but shout out to you too, man. I appreciate you got in your car, wasted about 10 hours worth of gas. I appreciate it,
Come
man.
on. Came
I
down to
love you
check you
too,
out.
man.
There it is. It is. All right. Where we at? Book number 6.
Yeah. So this one was a collaborative effort,
Uh-huh.
with two other gentlemen.
Oh, yes. I saw that. And I said, is that him?
Yep, that's me.
Do tell.
So it's Project Songbook.
Uh-huh.
Basically what we did was these are actual songs that were written that were meant to be recorded,
Uh-huh.
but we never got around to them. We were supposed to work with like different artists, and we were writing
Mm,
songs for them,
yeah.
and things just didn't materialize the way we wanted it to.
Yes.
So we just thought it would be like a really, novel idea or really cool idea to just go ahead and just put the songs into a book
That is
and let people
cool.
appreciate the songs in that way.
Yes.
So yeah, that was the thought concept behind that. It was just and it ranges from different topics. We're talking about love, we're talking about like self-discovery,
Uh-huh.
relationships, just world events, things that's just going on in life.
Yes.
It's kind of a nice mixture of different songs on there. I mean, I wish we could have recorded them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, you
but
still
I'm
could if
glad
you
that we at
wanted to,
least put it
right?
in a book for people to enjoy.
Yeah, I love it. All right, we got a question here. Can we get a part 2 to Project Songbook?
Well, it's up to you, man. I mean, the guy who put in the comments, it's up to you. If we're going to do a part two, I'm all with it. I'm always ready to write. But I mean, that was in the talks probably about like a year and a half ago to do a part
Okay.
two.
Okay.
But so we'll see. You never know.
Nice.
I mean, we might
Nice.
put it out next week. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Well, I know I'll
We're
be
not though.
watching.
But I was just spitballing. I was just talking a little ahead of myself. All right.
We're here for
Let
it.
me calm down a little bit. Yeah.
We are here for it. Come on and give us number 7.
All right, so the next one is another like collaborative book. So it's called Visuals Allure.
Oh, yeah. I love that cover.
So the concept behind this was when we do photography over here, we try to like tell a very in-depth story with the photography. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that's kind of hard because you're doing a portrait shot, a still shot of
Mm-hmm.
something, but we try to hopefully when people look at it they can kind of visualize some type of story or visualize how this can be incorporated in their life in some way
Mm-hmm.
shape or form. So we
Mm-hmm.
just thought it would be a novel idea to just go ahead and put out a book with some of our best photography, and then we kind
Mm.
of wrote a brief story to go along with each photo that's
Oh,
in there.
nice. Nice. Now that one I'm not seeing on Amazon. Am I missing it somewhere? Or does that one need to come from your
I
website?
mean, hopefully they ain't take it down. It should be on there.
Okay, maybe I'm
But
just
they might have
missing it.
took it down. I don't know. But
Okay.
if they want a copy, they could definitely go to the website www.olympianmultimedia.info, and
Okay.
we'll definitely get them a copy.
All right. So y'all, I am putting the different websites in the chat. If you are not over on the YouTube side of life, we need you to come on over to YouTube at Ask Dr. Walls 525. We need you to hit that subscribe button. We also need you to
Definitely do that.
come to your YouTube channel, which is where?
Yes, everybody. I mean, do yourself a favor. It's just a couple clicks. Subscribe to Mrs. Wall's YouTube channel. Please do. And then come right over. After you click on that, just jump over to Olympian Multimedia and
Yes,
click that subscribe over there too. I mean, it's going to take you about 5 seconds. So that's
literally.
not too much time for you. Go
It's
ahead and
not.
click a couple buttons.
That's it. This is what I'm saying. Let's build it up all the way
Let's
up.
build it up.
All right. So All right, where we at? We at number 8?
We're at number 8. So we got Zeus presents. I don't know if you can see it. Mount Olympus cometh.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love it.
So I kind of went back to my roots with this one, and kind of
Mhm.
it's very heavily inspired by Greek mythology.
Okay.
But I just try to put it in a very creative way. I was kind of playful with this book. I didn't really go in it with a real stringent mindset as far as
Mhm.
like concepts and whatnot. I just was like, I was feeling good at the moment. Like, I just want to put out the most creative stuff that I could put out.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can kind of overthink things,
Yeah.
and then you end up losing your love, losing your passion for things.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I kind of didn't want to get to that because I write
Right.
so much. So I was just like, you know what? Why don't I just put a book where I just being playful and, you know, still sticking to a topic, but
Mhm.
it's like I'm having fun.
Yes.
I'm getting back to my roots.
Excellent. All right. And then last, but definitely not least, bum, bum, bum,
Uh, ba
bum.
ba ba ba. It's called Mixtures, a
Yes.
blend of madness.
Yes.
And in the back it tells you Olympus and Flux. Read if you dare.
Mhm. Do
So
tell.
I don't want to toot my own horn. I get asked a lot which one of my books I think is the best from a personal standpoint,
Yes.
and I've always said my second book, Jupiter
Mhm.
Expressions, was my best body of work.
Okay.
But not to toot my own horn, but I really think this one, Mixtures, is my best work.
Yes.
I definitely push myself with this one.
Mhm.
This one is short stories, so
Okay.
most of the content that's in there, that's it's actually short stories
Mhm.
that covers different genres like
Mhm.
mythology.
Mhm.
There's one in there that has horror. I did a
Mm.
horror story in there. I did
Okay.
one with fantasy.
Yes.
And then I did another one with like, basically kind of like suspenseful.
Yes. Yes.
And then I have a couple like personal stories of like experiences that I went through, and I thought it would be kind of cool to share it with people.
Okay.
Um, yeah, this one was probably my hardest one to write.
Mhm.
I probably went through 6 different versions before I put out the final one.
Wow.
So I was really in tune with this one. This book took me the longest to write as well. This
Mhm.
probably took me just under a year to write.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I'm very proud of it, and I gotten great feedback from it.
Good.
People really enjoyed the stories in there. That puts a smile on my face because my next book I'm working on, I'm trying a novel. It'll be my first time at a crack
Okay.
at a full fledged novel.
Yes.
But I was basing off the response of this book.
Yes.
Should I go into the novel realm?
Uh-huh.
Because if
Uh-huh.
I didn't really get that good feedback from the stories that were in there, I would probably change my tune. Like maybe I shouldn't do it. But I've gotten mostly good positive feedback when it comes to the stories. So yeah, that definitely
Fantastic.
motivated me. Like, yeah, why not crack at it and try out writing a novel?
I love it. I love the expansion of yourself. And so I know, right, there's times where people will step out of the comfort zone, but one of the things that I say is that you're really expanding your comfort zone because the more you push your limits, the broader and bigger your zone actually becomes. And so in this hour, we heard how he started with poetry and then moved into essays and then moved into short stories and then even different genres within the short stories. And now next time we'll have him on to talk about this novel. And who knows, maybe he'll turn into a playwright and there'll be a film and everything else like that. Hmm.
Yeah, hey, I mean, anything is possible.
That's
Anything can
right.
happen.
I got to plant some seeds and start to nurture them.
I
So,
mean, I'm kind of working on a TV pilot right now. So
oh,
it definitely deals with again the Greek mythology, but I
yes,
put a different spin on it.
yes.
I kind of made it into like a mafia, like
Mm.
crime syndicate type story.
Uh-oh.
So
I'm
that's
looking
all I'm
forward
gonna
to
give
that.
right now, but
Okay.
just know it's just something in the works
Nice.
uh that it might turn into fruition in the future.
Okay. Okay. Well, the show is not called Planner's Knowledge for nothing. So
Mhm.
definitely believe in planting those seeds. I have another program called Greater Seeds. So planting
Mhm.
those seeds and nurturing them so that they do come to fruition. Well, I wish you all of the best and continued success. We thank you for taking the time to share with us today. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media, your websites, and any upcoming events where they can check you out and get a chance to meet you in person and show up and give you compliments and praise and not nonsense.
As far as the website, definitely check out www.olympianmultimedia.info. There's all kinds of different stuff on there to check out, different type of links that takes us to our YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram at Olympian Poet 83, all one word. Facebook is just I don't have one directly for the business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just Zeus Cruz on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm also on LinkedIn as well at Zeus Cruz as well. And we're also, if anybody's out there on Tumblr, we're on
Mm-hmm.
Tumblr as well, Olympian Multimedia. You can check that out as well. And then also check out our online stores.
Yes.
We have Omedia 48.gumroad.com if you're interested in getting some musical content for your musical projects in the form of loops, synths, VSTs, virtual instruments, different types of audio samples. We have sound packs that are included with that. And then check out
Mm-hmm.
visualsallure.picfair.com if you're looking to get some digital design or some photography for your projects. There's definitely stuff there that you could check out.
All right. So again, and tell YouTube channel so people can run over and hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, check out Olympian Multimedia. I mean, come on, man. Don't slack on me here, man. You've been with us this whole time. You might as well go ahead and hit the button.
That's
And
right.
if you don't mind, could I just do a couple more shout outs
Of
real
course you
quick?
can.
Yeah, I definitely want to shout out some people here because they mean a lot to me. So I just want to start real quick with Miss Sandrea Flowers, aka Sandy. I've done some projects with her. She's amazing. She runs a business out of New York. Shout out to you. Definitely look up to you. Definitely want to give a shout out to Mr. Eric Maywar from
Mhm.
Trenton. He owns classic books and gifts. Always comes through on the clutch anytime I need to use his business as a venue to go ahead and do some filming. He's always in. He's always very supportive. So I definitely want to
Fantastic.
shout out him. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to shout out real quick Mr. Rashad Davis of Ron Malik Illustrations. One of
Mm.
the best illustrators I've ever seen. He's also an author as well. Put out a few books, children books. I think he's presently working on a new one now. Shout out to him. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to author Jay Logan.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some projects with her as well. She also is the author of two children books. Um, Amazing. I just get great inspiration from her as well. She definitely got like a lot going on, sort of like yourself. And that's going to be my last shout out. Is to you, Miss Walls, because I definitely get a whole lot. Like I said, I'm trying to keep up with you. It's going to probably take me a while, but I'm going to get there. But definitely shout out to you for allowing me to be on this show.
Thank
You have a
you.
beautiful platform. You have a beautiful soul, beautiful spirit.
Thank
Much
you.
blessings to you. And
Appreciate that.
I'm ecstatic. I'm very grateful that you had me on.
Oh, you are welcome. You are welcome. And I know you have inspired and encouraged a lot of people today as they listen live, as well as those who will definitely check out the replay. So please be sure, join his YouTube channel, follow him on social media. You want to stay abreast of everything that he's doing. He is growing. He's mentioned a lot of different people here. So check the replay, get those names down, reach
Oh,
out to
oh,
different people. Go ahead. Who else you have?
I'm sorry. I got two more people. I'm
No
sorry.
apologies. No
I gotta
apologies.
squeeze them in. I
Come on.
gotta
Let
give a
me hear
shout
it.
out to Miss Darlene Durham.
Yes.
She's like my biggest fan.
Uh-huh.
Anytime I need support for anything, she comes on through. Uh, shout out to her, and also shout out to Adaria Armstrong. She's
Oh
the
yes,
curator.
yes,
You know
yes,
who she
yes,
is, the
yes,
curator at the
yes,
British Library. Always been supportive. We had her on the show as well. She's doing big things down there,
yes,
different events and stuff that she has going on down there. So definitely shout out to her.
yes.
And,
Thank
and,
you.
and that's it. I didn't mean to put all that out there.
No,
That's
I'm
it.
glad that you did. You know, like you, we create a platform for people to know these resources that are out in the world because so many times it's only the household names or the quote unquote celebrities that get the time and the attention, which is fine, but we have a lot of unsung or unknown community heroes and resources that need that platform to be put on blast because they're the ones who are doing the work that you never ever hear about. And I'm
Mhm.
glad you mentioned Adara because it's because of her that we even met. She
Mhm.
met me at the Collingswood Book Festival, and her and my husband got into a verbal joust of comedy with each other. And
Okay.
then she circled back to me and she was like, would you come out to Bridgeton? And I had no idea where it was, but I enjoyed my interaction with her. We enjoyed our interaction with her so much. It was like, well, we'll find it and we'll show up. And
Okay.
so that's what we did. And as soon as we walked in the door, you were literally the first person, right, who we met. And I was like,
Happy blessings.
yes,
Happy accidents.
that's right. Where do we go? Who do we connect with? And
Mhm.
I just knew, and it was like, okay, I got to go back and meet that guy at the front door. And that's what I said to my
Mhm.
husband. And then I came over and we ended up talking. Um, and so, yes, so Adaria is the
Oh,
linchpin. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I got
No
one more. I got two
apologies.
more. Can I squeeze
Four.
them in?
I
Because
want you to bring four
they're gonna
more.
get mad at me if I
I want
don't.
you to bring
You know what I
four.
mean?
I want you to bring
I
four
got
more.
I got to give a shout out to my kids.
Yes.
You know, so I got Cammy, I got Legiana, Diavion, Willie. Shout out to y'all. Love
Hmm.
y'all. And I have to shout out my sister.
Okay.
Uh, love you to death, Janitza Cruz and her
Hmm.
fiance Mercedes. Shout out to them. They're in the armed forces. They're in the army right now. Matter of
Oh,
fact, my
nice.
sister just graduated from the academy this week. So
Fantastic.
shout out to her. I can't wait to see her. I should be seeing her in the next month. Love you to death. Again, she's like my biggest fan too, always supportive. So shout out to them. And,
Yeah.
and now I'm officially, I think I got everybody. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If I
And this
forgot you, just get me later. You know
this
what I mean? Smack me around, do whatever. You can get me later on that. I try to remember everybody.
this is where you say charge it to my head, not to my heart.
There you
Because
go. There you go.
right? Because there's so many people who we appreciate in the process of our life that we want to
Mhm.
take the time. And so no apologies needed to take time to acknowledge those people. I think that's an important thing to do. So I'm
Mhm.
glad that you took it.
Mhm.
All right, people. So you know the pages to follow. Obviously, you want to stay abreast because that's 9 books so far. We know there's more books coming. Now he talking about keeping up
Mhm.
with me. I'm trying to keep up with him. I'm over here counting my little library. Let me see where I am. Look, so I had a greatest soul journey.
There
I
you go.
have lived by the spirit. So that's 2. Come on, count with y'all. And then I have my children's books, The Reunion, The Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny, The Reunion,
Bam.
Froggy Foo and Mungo,
There you go.
Bunny Gets Bullied, Feeling Feelings. So that's 6. But I'm happy to say that
I mean,
Careless
you
Clueless
practically
Coat.
right there.
I'm coming at you because guess what? Careless Clueless Coat. I just approved all the illustrations from my illustrators.
Nice.
What is today? Wednesday. I did it Monday. So that one
Nice.
will be coming out. Thank you. That one will come out in probably in about 4 to 6 weeks. I'm thinking I'm going to
Okay.
drop it around my birthday. And then
So
there's
you know what
another
that
one.
means, right?
What's that mean? I'm coming
That
back
means
on your show.
you gotta get back on the show and talk about it.
That's
Come
what's
on
up.
now, we gotta keep this thing going here.
I'm here for it. You know I'm here
All
for it.
right. Well, we're
All
gonna set
right.
some up.
Well, if you know any authors and people who are listening, if there are any authors that need to be on this show, I like to create a platform where I can introduce people to authors, different genres, and also it allows me to help you create content for the various social media platforms.
Mhm.
All right. So If you have any, please feel free. You can email me at plantersknowledge@gmail.com. When you subscribe to my page, you'll also see I do a lot of other shows as well. So if if it's not the author piece, it may be something else. So I definitely encourage you to reach out. Tomorrow
Mhm.
night at 8 p.m., my husband and I will be doing our monthly Vodcast Stronger Together, where we'll be talking
Mhm.
about being in relationship with each other, being in business with each other, and just how we are all stronger together. And this is something
Mhm.
that Zeus has shown you today with all of his shout outs. He is much stronger due to all the people who have embraced him and continue to encourage him on his life's journey. And I'm happy to have this moment to put my hand in your hand and bring you
I,
forward. So
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Walls.
You're welcome. All right, y'all. We'll see you again. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Ask Dr. Walls 525. And you know you'll be seeing Zeus again. All right. Y'all
Oh
be
yeah.
well. Take care. God bless.